Good evening, councillors. We have my chaplain Andrew here will do prayers.
I wonder what qualities we look for to help us in our meeting tonight. In the Old Testament, there's a style of writing referred to as wisdom. The reader is invited to walk the way of wisdom and become familiar with her ways. Book of Proverbs, the reader is invited to consider the ants, their industry speaking for itself. I'd like to pray that you would have wisdom, discernment, deliberations, and stewardship of the resources of tendering. Short reading and then a short prayer. Proverbs 3. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations, by understanding God set the heavens in place. By knowledge the watery depths were divided, the clouds let drop their dew. My son, my daughter, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Lord, we pray for this chamber, for wisdom in our speaking and listening, for our planning and resourcing. We pray that by your grace we may work for the good of all. Amen.
Thank you, councillors. Before we go any further, I'd like to do a minute's silence for the loss of two former councillors, Councillor Peter Cawthron and Councillor Robert Buke. They were councillors, long-serving councillors here at TDC, and I think it's right and proper that we do a minute's silence in memory of those two former councillors. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Please be seated. Thank you. Apologies for absent, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I have apologies for absence from Councillor Codling, Councillor Baker, Councillor Carlo Guglielmi, Councillor Thompson and Councillor Platt. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2, minutes of the last meeting of the council, pages 1 to 16. I so move. Thank you, that's agreed. All agreed? Thank you. Item number 3, declarations of interest, if any. None, thank you. Item number 4, announcements by the chairman. It's been an eventful year for me as chairman of TDC. I'm just going to list some of the items I've been to this year. I attended the Youth Awards at the Princess Theatre here, a very good, successful evening. And also I attended the Tendering for Growth Awards. I also attended the Baby Loss Awareness and attended the grand opening ceremony of Little Pals Forest School Nursery in Bockinselm area. I attended the Clacton Carnival presentation where I was there presenting awards to worthy causes in our district. Again, I attended the baby loss awareness tree planting on the Greensward on the seafront. I was asked to attend the Clacton Lions Charter dinner evening, a very nice evening, and Councillor Casey attended the event too. I was asked to judge the Halloween pumpkins in Elmsted Market, attended Essex University Civic Agreement with the leader, Councillor Stevenson. On November, I attended Alresford Remembrance Service for my area, and on Sunday, I attended, along with Councillor Casey and leader and others, Remembrance Sunday parade at the Town Hall and then on to the Memorial Gardens. Later in November, I attended the charity Victorian Christmas Market, and only last week I attended the CVST presentation of grants to worthy causes in Tendring. I also, with Councillor Casey and the Chief Exec and others, we did the Pride of Tendring judging panel that took place on Thursday the 23rd, and winners will be shortly announced. And after this meeting, councillors, you're more than welcome to come to the Chairman's Parlour for mince pies. So please come along and enjoy a mince pie or two in the Chairman's Parlour afterwards. Thank you. Item number 5, announcements by the Chief Exec, Ian Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members, I just need to inform you that, and Council that due to unforeseen circumstances, 2 meetings have needed to be cancelled. So with the approval of the Chairman of the Standards Committee, Councillor Talbot, the formal meeting of the committee due to take place on Wednesday the 6th of December has been cancelled and will be rearranged in due course for early in the new year. However, we are still hoping to provide committee members with the planned training of conducting standards hearings, but unfortunately officers will not be in the position to confirm this until tomorrow morning at the earliest. In addition, with the approval of the Chairman of the review of the Constitution Portfolio Holder Working Party, Councillor Mark Stevenson, the meeting of that working party, which was due to be held tomorrow afternoon, has been cancelled. That business will be transacted at the meeting, which will be rearranged for the next meeting of the working party, which is now due to be held on Wednesday, the 13th of December, 2023. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Questions? Councillor Paul Honeywood.
It's not a question, Chairman. It's a mistake by myself for which I wish to apologise. I should have gave the apologies for tonight for Councillor Mark Platt, who has contacted me to say he's unwell.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Davison.
Chairman, thank you to Councillor Honeywood. I think I did read those out. So yeah, contact. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, statements by the Leader of the Council, if any. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll keep it brief, only because I don't want to take from some of the things that are going to be said later. Like you, Chairman, I attended quite a few meetings. The ones that were of note, that were all good, but the ones that really stood out were the Youth Awards that Tendring did. I think so many worthy recipients there of the Youth Awards, and what a fantastic night and event that was. I think it's important to note that is business as usual. We had the memorandum of understanding with the Essex University in Colchester. It's a very important partnership that has delivered quite a lot in the past, and I hope that would be the case in the future. And I think I'm going to leave it there, Chairman, because there is a few announcements that are going to come out as the day goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Item number 7, statements by members of the Cabinet, if any. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members of the public. As portfolio holder for leisure and public realm, I've been extremely busy over the last 6 months, fulfilling the many responsibilities expected of me in that role. One area that has been a priority for me is to deliver a leisure and activity strategy for the district. I work diligently with officers, and I believe we have made significant progress in terms of consultation with relevant groups, partners, governing bodies, and related organisations. We are seeking to lay the groundwork for an inclusive and far-reaching approach that will deliver improved health and well-being opportunities for all of our residents. It's important that as well as developing resources and options for leisure and activity, we also provide a framework for delivery, and discussions on the shape and form of this delivery are also at an advanced stage. One development that I hope will be welcomed by all members is the reintroduction of the Tour de Tendrin cycling event in May 2024. I believe this last happened in 2019. For various reasons, it hasn't happened since. This is obviously an open and mass participation event. It's going to be expanded to have starts in both Dovercourt and Clacton. So this will hopefully allow more people to enter and take part. We're also looking to utilise our relationship with the Arts Council to enhance the event with some street theatre and entertainment on the day. So I hope all members will oil their chains and blow up their tyres and show the way come next May. So I want to see everybody out there. I've got a second announcement, which I'd like to take the opportunity to pay tribute to the professionalism of two groups of our staff at Walton and Dovercourt leisure centres. And I'll name them for the record: the Walton team, Sam Wilkinson, Glenn Alston, Jane Hodges and Alan French, and the Dovercourt team, Michelle Williams, Tom Crane and Sam Norman. They have recently utilised their training and expertise in CPR and defibrillator use to save the lives of two individuals suffering serious heart attacks. One only yesterday outside the Walton Centre, and another just 2 months ago in Dovercourt during an active match on the AstroTurf. I'm sure you'll join with me in commending the calmness and quick thinking of these young employees in very difficult and challenging circumstances. And our best wishes for a strong recovery go to the individuals involved. And I've just been informed by our press officer that we've had a message from the individual whose life was saved last night, saying that he's back on good form and making a speedy recovery. Many thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Questions? Councillor Joe Henderson.
It's not so much of a question, but obviously I'd like to thank Councillor Barry for, as we welcome back the popular event of the Tour de Tendrin back to our area. It will be great for the Harwich Town Council Skate Park Jam to link back up with this event. It's always been so popular in myself and Councillor Fowler's ward. It's good to see that it is growing across the district as well. So thank you for bringing that back. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Councillor Zoe Fairley.
Thank you, Chairman. And yes, thank you, Councillor Barry, for your update. Good news. I just wonder, in terms of your leisure strategy, how you are linking with the more rural communities and the rural groups, and whether you'd be able to just expand on that a little bit.
Councillor Barry.
Yeah, thank you for that. And yes, as I said, that in devising the strategy and producing the strategy, it's only as good as its delivery plan. And we are looking at delivering across the district. As I've said in meetings, I want every resident to be able to pick the strategy up and see something for them in it. So there will be a delivery strategy that encompasses, it's not complicated, but it's probably take some time for me to explain, but it's looking at rural, urban and the seaside areas, the coastal areas, and we're looking at having hubs in 4 different areas where we ask local organisations to contribute, share best practice, share events and publicity, and where we can deliver from the centre to the other areas. And we will be producing that along with the strategy. So it will come and we'll be able to consult on it and obviously we'll answer questions on it more formally. But it's certainly a key element of the strategy for me that there is something in it for every resident.
Thank you. Okay, we go on to item. Any other members of the cabinet? No. Item number 8, petitions to council, if any. There's none at this time. Question 9, questions pursuant to council procedure rule 10.1. There are no such questions at this time. Item number 10. A1, urgent cabinet or portfolio holders decision. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm happy to move as per report and the recommendation on page 17.
Thank you. All agreed? Thank you. Item number 11, minutes of the committees, pages 21 to 56. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm happy with the blessing of the council to move these on block.
All agreed? Agreed, thank you. Item number 12, motion to council notice procedure, rule 12. And there are none at this stage. Item 13, reference from Cabinet A2, adoption of the new corporate plan for the period of 2024 to 2028, pages 57 to 84. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. And I rise to present our vision. This is the consultation final document for our corporate plan, which we have named our vision. Pride in our area is one of the biggest things that we are pushing here. This is a corporate plan for residents, and it's very aspirational, and creating opportunities is our goal. I think, Chairman, there's a lot to be said about what tendering stands for. And I think one of the real key things is that we capture what the residents want. We did a huge consultation, 1,700 responses. We listened to that consultation, slightly above 17, so less than 1,700. We listened to that consultation, we amended our vision, we've included heritage, we've included a whole host of other things. I'm very excited about this, Chairman. I want to see where this plan delivers in 4 years' time, working with our partners to improve the quality of life, skills for our youngsters. There is so much in this plan, and I can't wait to see the delivery of it. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Bush.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, councillors, and thank you for that statement, Leader. I rise tonight to endorse our vision for the next 4 years. I would like to give thanks to all those that took part in the consultation and to let them know that they have been heard. Tonight, Chairman, I would like to focus on just one small part of the vision, and that is to deliver a financially sustainable waste contract. As a portfolio holder for environment, I am pleased to provide the first in what I aim to be a series of updates for you to consider on the development progress of our new waste, recycling and street cleaning contract. Whilst the existing contract finishes at the end of 2025 and the new services commence early 2026, it does seem a long way off. Waste management procurement, large contracts are both complex and time consuming. We started on this process some months ago. As members, we are all fully aware that the waste contract is the largest service contract that this council awards. It affects all the residents and therefore critical that we've allocated adequate time to consider the multitude of options that are available, both statutory, environmentally and financially, in delivering a value for money for all our residents for the years to come. The administration corporate plan and vision to be considered for adoption, which we have tonight, are 6 key themes, 2 of which are pride of area and champion our environment. The consultation feedback from residents has been positive and comments constructive. We have listened to our residents and considered their value input, which overwhelmingly emphasise not to reduce the waste collection service and improve recycling. I am pleased to report that a waste contract board has been established, comprising of TDC directors, senior officers and 2 portfolio members, providing experience and developing a robust waste strategy during the pre and post-contract procurement and the service delivery afterwards. I also put in place a member working group. This is attended by representatives from the majority of our political groups. On that basis, I would like to record my personal thanks at this juncture to everyone involved with their invaluable input to date. The amount of ground that we have covered during the past few months has put us on a sound platform moving forward to contribute towards the corporate plan aspirations and deliver value for money waste and street cleaning contracts. To further strengthen the new waste contract process, options evaluations for procurement, independent consultancy has been sought, and guidance from a waste contract board that have commissioned the East of England Local Government Association, ELGA, and they have undertaken a review of the current service and appraisal for method for delivery of a waste service from 2026 onwards. ELGA's analysis of these options concludes that the council will be best placed to undertake an open market tender exercise, and this is something that will be put to Cabinet in December. We will continue to explore further options during this tender specification process for improving recycling, reviewing the government's latest proposals for simpler recycling, which many of you probably are aware of, what we can collect, how frequently we can collect it. Our street cleaning and sweeping service is to be given a key focus on providing our town centres and tourist areas a priority to promote pride in our area. The waste and street cleaning budget...
Councillor Bush, you'd like to finish up, please.
To conclude, members, I can confirm and assure you that this administration is committed to continue to provide our residents with a 2-weekly residual waste collection service, and we will endeavour to improve recycling through doorstep collection. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Stevenson. Sorry. Are there any more questions? Councillor Ivan Henderson.
Thank you, Chairman, and I'm really pleased to be able to stand here and speak on this new corporate plan and our vision. As the leader has said, we had a really good response from residents, and that's been one of our priorities as a cabinet since being set up, that we listen to residents and we listen to what their priorities are, and then we try and turn them into our priorities. Because when we say our vision, we mean the residents' vision as well as ours. So our vision for going into this corporate plan will be to deliver for them. And I only have to look in this corporate plan and see some of my priorities for my portfolio, where it says, you'll see once, twice, maybe 3 times, that people are concerned about the opportunities that are being made available for young people for the future. And one of my priorities is to make sure that those opportunities that this council's going to provide, such as the Levelling Up projects, some of the capital regeneration projects, such as the Levelling Up partnership, such as the escalator, which is going to be provided in Dovercourt, which is more money as well, such as the Freeport East, such as the Garden communities. We want to make sure that all of those opportunities, when you put them together, actually deal for our residents. They're not just about building buildings. They're about what you put in those buildings, what service you put in there, what you can actually use to actually bring and deliver to the residents of this district. So they are our priorities when we start reshaping, I'd say, some of our town centres and reshaping some of our opportunities and employment for young people. We make sure that every young person in every part of this district knows exactly what those future opportunities are going to be, so that they can take advantage of those opportunities. And there's a big job to be done. Let me tell you, because I still don't believe, and you hear it from various sources wherever I go, that we're doing enough to make sure that young people know about the future careers that they're going to be available to them. We're not. I will be happy when every school, if we even start at primary school, right through to secondary school, that we make sure at an early enough age that those young people, as they go through those years, know that they can study and what their achievements will deliver on the opportunities that are going to be made available in this district. So I'm really excited about this local plan. It's listening to residents, and it's delivering for residents, and it's delivering for all ages of residents to make sure that we have a really bright future with this administration. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any more questions? Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. In that case, I'll sum up.
Councillor Henderson, your mic's still on.
This, as my colleagues have already said, is about a healthier, more connected district. It's about raising ambitions of our residents and putting residents first. We want clean and tidy communities, decent housing, and pride in the very places we live. But it all comes at a cost. And I think the very thing that underpins everything in our vision is the financial sustainability. And that's integral to everything we do. It seems like every week there's a 114 notice coming out from a district borough or county council. It's just saying that they cannot cope and are now bankrupt. This council is in a very good financial place, and this is where we will keep it. So, Chairman, I am more than happy to move our vision to the council. Thank you.
Mr. Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. So just to remind members that the recommendation as moved is on page 58 at the bottom, which says the council approves and formally adopts the final proposals for our vision, the corporate plan 2024-28, as set out in Appendix B to item A2 of the report of the Leader of the Council, as submitted to the meeting of the Cabinet held on 10th of November 2023, which is at Appendix 3. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. All agreed? That's carried. Any of the councillors against? None against. That's carried. No abstentions? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 14, reference from Cabinet A3, the local council tax support scheme, discretionary council tax exemptions, discounts, premiums for 24-25 and annual minimum revenue revision policy statement 24-25, pages 85 to 140. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to move this. Recommendation is on, as read on page 87. Thank you.
All agreed? Any questions? Sorry. Councillor Bray.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, Chairman, if I may, do apologise, Councillor Bray, to interrupt you. Just to say, you have not yet gone to the vote because you first have obviously any questions. Have a questions from Councillor Bray and then any others and then go back to there. So I just want to clarify you have not gone to the vote. Thank you.
Councillor Bray.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the Chief Executive for clarifying that for us. Thank you. Overall, I can't see any problems with this, apart from Part F, which does give me a couple of small issues. Reading through this, it may simply be that I've misunderstood something, but in Part F on page 87, it refers to 1st of April 2025. When I move on to page 138, it refers to 2024. So perhaps that could be clarified because it's not extremely clear as to where that starts. But I'll add a couple of other things I'd just like clarifying if I could, please. And I'm well qualified to do this. I don't have a second home. In fact, I don't own the first one. So I don't have any interest here whatsoever. But there are a couple of things that concern me with the introduction of the premium. The one biggest being that we do have landlords who let privately, and our good landlords, the very good landlords, do spend a great deal of time sometimes refurbing their properties to make them better. What concerns me is that we could accidentally, by doing this, catch a couple of those who took a little longer to do the refurbishment and then a little longer to re-let. So that one concerns me. Just really a little bit of clarification to ensure that those situations are not going to arise. And lastly, I think it's been made fairly clear that this is not a financial thing we're trying to do here. The idea here is to bring homes back into the market for people who need homes, and I absolutely support that. So what I'd like also is some clarification or some idea of how we will monitor this and the impact of this policy and what it will actually achieve. It will be good to know that if we adopt this, that it's actually achieving what we've set out to achieve. How exactly you do that, there are cleverer people than me, and my time is up. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any more questions? Councillor Peter Harris.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a couple of points really for clarification. Page 89, says local authorities can now charge 100% of council tax premium on properties empty for 1 to 5 years instead of 2 to 5 years. Have we not any danger of capturing people that are in a situation where perhaps they may have lost their job, they can't afford their mortgage, and you know, some houses can take over 12 months, and we're actually going to make the situation worse for that resident by charging him more when he can't actually afford the payment on the other house. So it's just really, have we anything in place really that's going to look at those individuals? I know it says it's discretionary, but are we going to look at each case on its own individual merits and use common sense as appropriately? Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. Kind of try and capture the points of clarity. I will leave it to officers to capture the one around whether it's a misprint or that Councillor Bray raised at first. This was a bit of a tough decision. Sometimes there are very points, in fact, some of our own group raised them, around, you know, who do we catch and why are we doing it? I think on balance, you know, we have a £1 million temporary accommodation bill. You know, that is paid for by tendering residents. That's not paid by for government or Essex, that's us. And I think there's a whole problem around temporary accommodation when sometimes we end up with people living in Ipswich, people living in Harwich that have children that go to Clacton and they can't do it. So the idea was always, this is like, as Councillor Bray said, not about the finance, but to try and bring back homes to the area. So, yes, there may be some people caught with this. That might not happen. There are exemptions which the government have yet to tell us. That might be picked up and caught there. To be honest, until we know what those exemptions are, it would be hard to say what we may or may not do on a case-by-case basis, but it will be pretty much dictated by law. Ultimately, there are always winners and losers in any decision we make, and the decision we had to make today was for the better good of all. So I'm sorry if there are some losers, but this is the one I think is best for the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. And clarification will be made by Mr. Davison, reference to Councillor Bray's comment.
Thanks, Councillor Bray. Just to clarify, the report is correct. The reason for it is empty homes can be introduced in 2024. Second homes, because it needs a year running, because it's a new change, has to have a year running, so will be introduced in 2025, but it has to be signalled in that. Hence the report on F, recommendation to you on F saying April 2025. But well spotted for reading that.
Thank you, Mr. Davison. I'm sorry, Councillor Bray, you can't.
I
come
just
back.
wanted, one of the points was missed. I did ask for clarification on how
No,
it
you
would be
can't.
monitored.
Sorry, Councillor Bray. You had your opportunity. I'm really sorry. Councillor Bray, I've been informed by officers you will receive a written response to the other clarification you put forward. Okay?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, we go to a vote on that one. All agreed? Against? Abstentions? Only one abstention. That's carried. Thank you. Item number 15. Reports of submitted to the Council by Overview and Scrutiny Committee. There are none at this occasion. Item 16, reference to the Planning Committee A4, request to change commenced time of meetings, that of the committee. Pages 141 and 142. Councillor Maria Fowler.
Thank you, Chairman. I wasn't actually expecting to speak on this one, because I understand that this is now actually going to the Constitutional Working Party. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to clarify that as this is a reference from the Planning Committee, it's for the Chairman to recommend it. In order for the Council to be able to speak to it, it needs to be recommended. Then if there is an amendment, if we then receive an amendment from any part of the Council, we can discuss the amendment. If that is then passed, it will become the substantive motion. If that falls, you will then revert to. Nothing can be spoken about until such time as on the Council meeting, until such time as the recommendation is moved as per page 141. So could I invite the Planning Chairman to move this, the recommendation? Just to clarify, it does not need a seconder because it's come from a committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davison. Councillor Maria Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Davison. Thank you, Chairman. In that case, then I move the recommendation. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I plan to move a movement to take this to the Constitutional Working Party. I believe I have something to say. Do I say it first, or do I let my seconder second it? Seconder first.
Councillor Ivan Henderson.
Seconded, Chair.
Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a quick statement. I have seen changes proposed by the Planning Committee, and I am actually a great believer that committee should be able to manage their own business in a way that works best for members of those committees. However, full council has approved a schedule of meetings based on the defined start times, and Planning Committee meetings, this is 6 p.m, and we should not lightly set aside such decisions. In fact, when other changes in arrangements for the Planning Committee have been considered, such as whether to continue with site visits, we have our custom and practice of considering those through the Constitutional Review Working Group. I think that the route has worked in the past, and I think this proposal should be referred there and then by Cabinet, come back here once the group has considered the proposal. I'm moving this as a proposal as I want to make sure we give all councillors the opportunity to reflect on the positives and any negatives of the proposal. In the meantime, as I started by saying, I will leave the Planning Chairman with the backing of the Planning Committee, the freedom to regulate its affairs and to call extraordinary meetings at 5 p.m. on the scheduled dates for meetings if required. As Chairman, following consideration by the Constitutional Review Working Group, I will do my best to bring the matter back to Council at the earliest opportunity. I move the proposed referral, Chairman.
Any comments or questions? Councillor Cousins, Mark Cousins, thank you.
Are we allowed to comment about the idea at this session? Can I just ask that?
You're debating an amendment that Councillor Stevenson and Councillor Henderson have put forward. You're debating that amendment first. And then if whatever happens to that amendment, where it fails or goes through, then we decide on the outcome of what Councillor Maria Fowler has moved. Okay, so this is just on the amendment at the moment, what Councillor Stevenson and Councillor Henderson have put forward. Mr. Davison.
Just to clarify that, so if the amendment is voted upon and is passed, that will become your substantive motion. Your second vote will be as per the amendment. However, if that fell, then you'll be voting on what is before you. So this debate now is about the amendment, and the amendment, to be just absolutely clear for you, is that the proposal as per agenda item 16 be referred to the Constitution Working Party. Thank you.
Councillor Mark Cousins.
Well, I mean, if there's going to be an opportunity to discuss this elsewhere, then, you know, I'm quite happy with that amendment, that's where it goes. Because I do think it needs a little bit more discussion, because it's not just about what members want. It's we have a reputation as the council to actually understand what members of the public want to see as well.
Thank you, Councillor Cousins. I have two councillors on my list at the moment. I have Councillor Gary Culver. You may be seated.
Thank you, Chair. In truth, the amendment as I hear it is not about the proposal, it is about the process. So really all the amendment is seeking to do, if I'm correct, is making sure that council follows the correct process which is put in place to safeguard the rights of all members. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Culver. Next councillor is Councillor Chris Griffiths.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to say I fully support the suggestion that this goes to the Constitutional Working Party. Given that we've just passed a corporate plan that says we have pride in our area and services to our local residents, I believe it's vitally important that the Working Party looks at something which in effect stops people who work from attending planning meetings and stops councillors that are employed getting to 5 o'clock meetings. It's my view that if we're serious about having a district for the good of all, then we should have things in place that allow everybody to attend council meetings and not put undue burden on people that work to try and get to a 5 o'clock meeting in Clacton. I hope that this is not a party political thing, but it's a plea that we give consideration to the workers in our community. Earlier we heard how Councillor Henderson was trying to encourage workers and skills, and it's those very people that very often have dwellings and homes within this area. And I would also say that pride in our community is also pride in what's built around our community. And I think it's important that we give the opportunity for as many people as possible to engage in the planning process. I don't believe that having a meeting that starts at 5 o'clock that has a major impact on local residents is in the interests of working people or those who work outside the district. It's bad enough trying to get to meetings at 5 o'clock at 6 o'clock in the afternoon or 7, and anybody that works out further afield than Colchester has limited opportunity to get to a meeting that starts in Clacton at 5. So I strongly urge that the Constitutional Working Party gives consideration not just to council members and those sitting on the committee, but our residents who are affected by the decisions that those people in the committee may make. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Now, Councillor Peter Harris.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I did have an awful lot to say on this, but now that our leader has recommended it's going to go to the Constitutional Working Party, I fully support that. Planning is a matter that's very dear to my heart, and I agree wholeheartedly what Councillor Griffiths has just said, and I would stand here and say that and some more. But recognising it's going to go to the Constitutional Working Party, I fully support that. But I just want to know, I may not be able to give an exact answer, but I just underline the importance of getting it back to the council as quickly as possible and to the Constitutional Working Party to make a decision on this very quickly, because we can't have a never-ending situation where the planning committee chairman is cancelling the meetings, having emergency meetings, and it could go on month after month after month after month. I'm receiving complaints every single day from local residents and local parish councillors that are very upset with this, and it would be very detrimental to the integrity of this council and the planning committee if this went on too long. So I would respectfully ask our leader to please push this through as fast as possible, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Before I go to the next councillor, Mr. Davison is going to clarify.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Just to clarify, in terms of the process, what happens is it will go to the Constitution Working Party, then goes back to Cabinet, and then back to Council. So in effect, it should come to Council for the March meeting.
Thank you. Next councillor is Councillor Paul Honeywood.
Chairman, I've never sat on the planning committee, but I have attended many planning meetings on behalf of residents, and I've had residents attend with me. I'd like to make a small quote that was circulated to all councillors from within the council just yesterday. A busy evening with a well-attended planning committee. Those people had an opportunity to arrive and attend a meeting. If it's moved to 5 o'clock, that means anyone who wants to attend who's working may have to take time off work and lose money, or they may have to take a holiday to get that time off. That cannot be right, in my opinion. I'm really concerned about this. Residents should have access. They should have access to attend the meetings, and my fear is that this council is changing. It's changing from a council that serves the people to a council that's starting to serve itself. And that's what this motion will do. I'll give you an example when you laugh, Councillor Barry. Only the other day, I attended a meeting of the Scrutiny Committee, where the Scrutiny Committee were actually restricted on the number of questions they could ask. That may amuse you, it doesn't amuse me.
Councillor
This
Honeywood,
is wrong,
Councillor
in my
Honeywood,
opinion. Thank you.
Councillor Honeywood, I've been advised what you're saying is not with reference to the amendment. Please stick your comments to the amendment, please. You may continue, Councillor Honeywood. We have another councillor, Councillor Maria Fowler.
Chairman, if you permit me, I would just like to point out to colleagues that the planning committee that was held here last night started at 5 p.m. and the public gallery was full. There was standing room only. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more councillors want to ask a question or just on the amendment? Right, go back to Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. Quite a few speakers there, so hopefully I've captured it. Councillor Cousins, I totally agree. One of the reasons why I put this into Constitution Working Party is so that we can have a further conversation around what we think would be good. And that conversation won't be restricted to the Constitution Working Party. There will be a piece of document coming out to grab the views of the 48 councillors. I would hope those 48 councillors would represent the views of their residents, and so we would also, in part, capture their thoughts. Councillor Calver, you are correct. This is about process, and I think this is the right way to do it, as so many of you have already said. Councillor Harris, you talk about quick turnaround. As is custom with the CEO, he stole all of my lines. You know the process, and it should be coming back in March. Councillor Griffiths, all views will be heard. It will come back to full council, as has already been discussed. You will get another chance to talk on this. And Councillor Honeywood, as soon as you sit on my working party, I think you have, more than anybody else, the power to influence any decision in that working party. So I look forward to your comments when we sit and do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For the amendment, it's been moved by Councillor Stevenson and seconded by Councillor Ivan Henderson. All those who agree with the amendment, please raise your hands. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you, that's carried. Thank you. Then we go back to the overall. So that becomes the substantial motion now. So, and we vote on that. So it's been moved by Councillor Maria Fowler. Sorry, any more comments or questions on this? No? Okay. Please raise your hands for all in favour. Those against? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. That is carried. Item number 17. Report of the Chief Executive A5 Tendering Colchester Borders Garden Communities Joint Committee appointment of TDC representative member from a political group that is not represented on the Cabinet. Pages 143 and 146. Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. This is an important area, and I think we've always shown that party politics isn't one of these things we need to inject into our garden communities. So with that in mind, I am very happy to move Councillor Mark Cousins as the member not represented by the Cabinet for the garden communities. Thank you.
Councillor Paul Honeywood.
I'm happy to second that, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Honeywood. Any comments? Councillor Bush.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd just like to say I'd welcome, as the representative for the Tendering Garden Borders Committee, I'd welcome Mark on board.
Okay. Any other nominations? We need to go to the vote now. All agreed? Any against? Abstentions? Thank you. Clearly carried that Councillor Mark Stevenson will be the member on the Tendering Colchester Borders. Mark Cousins.
Sorry, Chair, I don't really want to be on that committee.
Mark Cousins. Sorry. There's too many marks here. Just item number 18, report of the Chief Executive A6, resignation of Councillor Ian Leonard, pages 147 to 148. Mr. Davison.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Can I, as per your report with the resignation of Councillor Leonard, can I just inform members, though, that the poll based on the award being contested, the poll will be held on the 11th of January 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 20, report the Chief Exec A6, membership of committees and deputy leader of the Labour Party, pages 151 and 152.
Chairman, can I 19.
I beg your pardon. I'm eager to get to the mince pies. I'm really. There's gluten-free ones as well. Item 19, report to the Chief Exec. A7, approval of non-attendance of meetings, pages 149 and 150. Mr. Davison.
For members to move and second. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Stevenson.
Thank you, Chairman. I think none of us will know when we're going to be ill, and I think it's only right and proper that we move Jim Codling gets an extra 6 months, and I wish him, and along with the rest of our group, a speedy recovery.
Councillor Paul Honeywood.
I'm happy to second that, Chairman, and I'd like to add our group's voice to the wishes for a speedy recovery. Councillor Codling.
Thank you. All agreed? Any against? Abstentions? That's carried. Now we will go to number 20 on the agenda. Report of the Chief Exec A6, membership of the committees and deputy leader of the Labour Group at pages 151 to 152. Mr. Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. As per your, on the agenda, and also that paper which is on the table as well, which is the additional piece of information. Thank you, Chairman.
All agreed? Agreed, thank you. Item 21, report of the Chief Exec, A9, resignation from the Conservative Group and the formation of a new political group, tendering District Council, pages 153 and 154. Mr Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. As per your agenda, on page 153, and just to say that a Widdicombe review will be conducted during the course of the new year. Thank you.
All agreed? Thank you. Item number 22, report of the Monitoring Officer A10, Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman, findings pages 155 to 156. Ian, Mr Davison.
Thank you, Chairman. As per your report, which is an information-only item, which is required to be reported to Council, so it's as per your report on page 155. Thank you, Chairman.
All agreed? Agreed, thank you. Item 23, questions pursuant to Council Procedure Rule 11.2. There are no such questions at this time. Item number 24, urgent matters to debate. I have none. Item 25, exclusion of press and public. Councillor Mark Stevenson.
Thank you, Chair. With the blessing of the Council, I'd like to move the rest of the agenda on block.
Thank you. All agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Can I just say, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. I hope everyone has a wonderful time during the festive season. And I formally close the meeting. Many thanks.
Please be upstanding.